here just in case I need to charge my phone.
No, that's a good idea. Everything in here is plugged in.
Yeah.
Including us, including our cat, which photo. Remember, Michael put photo of cat being lit up by random white light.
Welcome to It's Your Loss podcast, where raw stories of resilience and healing are told, all while uncovering and destigmatizing the diverse symptoms of loss.
Welcome back to the podcast. If you missed last month's episode, well, it's your loss. This is the unofficial beginning of the new season. The new season is actually still going to start in April, but I'd be remiss if I didn't put up this episode. We had a lot of feelings, a lot of things that triggered feelings of loss, and how we dealt with them seemed to be wide and varied. But I will tell you that there is one thing that everybody did, and that's what they said. They practiced self-care. I am here with Sam Simmons. Well then. All right, everything's reset again. Whether or not I actually use that, we'll see. This may all wind up on the cutting room floor, but we don't know.
Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to do that.
So
I just wanted to give you the accurate emotional response to the election results.
Yeah. So some people definitely woke up and started screaming. Some people woke up, looked at their phones, rolled over, and went back to sleep.
Hot-blooded panic from me, honestly.
Really?
And I also looked up the prices for housing in both Canada and Mexico.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's more preferable right now for you?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Mexico.
Yeah?
Because my mother lives in Canada, the frigid north. So,
oh, really?
As far away as physically possible. Just make it more difficult for her.
I didn't realize that the relationship between you and your mom was a thing where you need to get like two countries away.
It's actually not. I just like to be a butthead.
Fair enough. I would try to get away from my mother, but she's in a shelf upstairs. So we both have our ways of coping.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Right.
Levity is one of the ways that a lot of people deal with stress and freaking out. As is the case, if you knowing that this is a podcast about grief, you can just come in screaming. I love that.
I mean, somebody's got to.
So I'll start this off just from a personal note of what happened to me. And I feel like my symptoms that I actually had, because I woke up that morning feeling ill. I had not even looked at the phone or anything. Like I went to bed before the results. I took a look at what the results were at that point. And Mike Tyson. Those of you who saw the fight understand that joke. But
biting his glove the entire time. Hopefully, none of y'all put down money. Because,
oh God, I hope not. I felt bad enough just walking away from that thing, just watching it. Like it was such a sad turnout. But
you actually got to watch it because Netflix just shut down.
Oh, my Netflix was doing perfect.
Really?
Yeah, the entire time.
Oh my God. Okay, so we were over at the comic book shop that you've been to. Also,
sure,
if y'all have any idea of what I'm talking about, you absolutely don't. So it just kept going in and out, and there was no actual screen for a while.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, we had to watch it on our phones while we were sitting there.
I think I had 2 buffering moments, and those were during other people's fights.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I didn't.
I love those fights.
Yeah, those were great fights.
So good.
Yeah, those were passionate, real fights that I felt like actually had stakes. Yeah.
Yeah. However.
Yeah. So anyway, I woke up the morning after the election and just feeling like crap. Head was hurting, stomach was roiling, joints were hurting. I felt like I had the man flu, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Then I checked the results, and everything that I had the effect of feeling the stomach drop, because it's not the fact that I'm afraid of Trump and what he's going to bring into office. I feel like I kind of know there's a lot of things that people say when they want to get elected that don't necessarily come to fruition because either A, it takes time or support, or they just want to get the people stirred up in enough frenzy that yes, they will get the vote. It happens on both sides. I'm not just saying that the left or the right, it happens.
Yes, but when it comes to both sides, unfortunately, Trump has a way of actually doing what he says that he's going to do, and everything that he says that he's going to do is fucking horrible.
That's true.
Every time.
Yeah, okay, so maybe my stomach dropping was kind of realizing that too, that he has such a single-minded pig-headedness about everything that he does.
Does nobody remember the first 4 years?
No, I don't think they do.
Content for days, unfortunately. Every single day on Twitter was a horror show.
I mean, it's good for the comedians, right? It's heyday for the comedians. They have pretty much a secure job for the next 4 years.
Yeah. That's a
But
clip.
yeah, right. Yeah. Don't want to steal your thunder, but yeah. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning when I did wake up, because I'm trying to wake up naturally here recently, and so that's forcing myself to get up around 6. That way, if I do happen to get up late, it's still late enough for me to get to work on time, and also it gives me enough time to eat right instead of going out to eat a lot. Because
Me personally, whenever I wake up, it's always in a cold sweat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
very terrified of the night before.
You like every night?
Yeah.
Wow. Therapy, my guy.
No.
Just got a raw dog life.
I probably should.
Oh man, so
This is my therapy.
yeah, good. You talking with
Yeah.
people,
No,
Real
no,
connection?
just this.
Oh, just this?
Just this part.
Okay, you
Just the 2 episodes that I've been on. This is the only amount of therapy that I can afford.
Oh god.
Thank you, American healthcare system.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better. Did my mic turn off?
Oh, there it goes. It's on
There we go.
again. It's on again.
We're back, guys. I'm derailing it. You wake up in the morning?
Yeah, so I wake up in the morning at 6 o'clock.
Not feeling like P. Diddy.
No. And nor being felt by P. Diddy. So, you win some, you lose some. The whole of my body feels horrible, and I'm thinking, all right, well, I already feel sick, and we have a pretty much standing order at the office that if you feel sick, don't go to work, because it's only 20 something people. If a virus breaks out in that office,
That's the entire office.
yeah, we're all
Yeah,
laid low.
course.
So I was like, all right. In the back of my head, I'm like, all right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow protocol. I'm going to call in. And obviously, no one picks up the phone at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we have pretty chill people. I wind up texting in. And of course, no one responds to me for the entire day. But then I go into work the next day. I'm feeling better. I had my day, which I'll get into that further here in a minute. But I had my day. I went in, and then nobody said anything. I wasn't in trouble. And everybody was like, hey, do you feel better? So they got the text. They just didn't answer it, which is infuriating as somebody who likes to respond, like talk via text.
Right.
Yeah, I just feel like the other person isn't there. So physical ailments, and then a day of self-care, which I'll talk about that. That's what my day after the election day. That was my November 6th. I was able to do that. I think Marley was able to go to work. It's just me here by myself. That was my day. You have a whole family to contend with. Contend, live, however you want to put that. But you have a whole family to live with. What was your reaction? What was your family's reaction? I doubt your kids really had much to think about.
Thank you, Mike. I'm glad that you asked. I beat my children that day. Mercilessly.
Wholesale abuse.
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got to, as a parent, you have to do those sort of things. You need to beat your children. But no, both Claudia and I had nothing but jokes to say the entire day, which, it's at least one thing to feel better about, but also it just feels real and I don't like it. Yeah.
Okay.
But woke up, took a shower like usual, angry, got dressed, angry, looked at my wife, not angry.
That's good.
But she looked at me angry.
Ooh.
So she matched my energy. Face turned angry. We've just been complaining about it nonstop that entire day. Made some food. The kids asked what was wrong, and we both said nothing.
Yeah.
And then I think I wanted to make some happy content just to get me out of the funk, and that didn't work. I never posted it. Yeah.
Did you post anything at all that day?
I think it's best if I didn't.
Fair enough.
Straight up. My initial reaction was generally screaming. At the top of my lungs, to nobody in particular, and incoherently. Same thing with Claudia.
Yeah.
Wow. We matched that energy. It's really nice.
I'm with somebody who doesn't necessarily match my energy when it comes to the more high energy stuff, because I tend to lean a little bit more towards the manic side in general, especially if my ADHD is in full swing that day, or if I'm hyper focused on something, which again is still under ADHD, but still. So she's more methodical, and if anything is really emotionally charged that's going to get her, it's going to be the negative stuff, that is more of a personal slight towards her, like somebody has done her wrong or something like that. So she didn't really feel like anything was done wrong towards her during this, and so what I watched, she was she was a little bit more quiet. I'd have to say that was about the only symptom that I saw that anything was really kind of affecting her. Like, she didn't want either side, either major side. She didn't want Kamala. She didn't want Trump. And that's why she decided to vote for somebody else. I don't remember what his name is, but somebody who was independent. I don't think it was Green. Either way, she didn't feel like her conscience was going to allow for either side. What I'm seeing as I took a look at some of the numbers. I'm not going to pull them up here because that's just depressing, but the amount of people who didn't vote instead of voting for something else, which was just wild for me, because as much as a fever pitch as we've tried to introduce to the younger voters, the new voters, it's like, hey, it's your thing to vote. I don't really know what the ages were or anything like that. In fact, that might be something that I could look up, but I'm not that prepared. But I'm just wondering how many younger voters went, this isn't worth it at all,
and just didn't vote.
Yeah, and didn't vote, because what you see on the news, what they want to put in front of the screen are older, angry people voting for either side.
Yeah,
right.
No, of course.
And they didn't really highlight any of the younger generation, which leads me to wonder, did they get left out? She voted independently. We don't really talk heavy into politics. In fact, we're good with that for like any members of our family. One of the things that I have found out over the last 12 years is that the people who you think like you politically, they could be on a completely different branch.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Humor, maybe, memes. Sure, you could share the same memes all day long, but the moment you start talking about like healthcare or women's rights or taxes
or trans rights or
anything,
immigration,
people just learning what the hell a tariff is. I'm sorry, I'm one of those people.
Wow.
Didn't know? I understood the word tariff, that it applies to someone who's getting charged, but it wasn't until a very kind teacher from Canada who puts out really good content on TikTok spelled it out on a chalkboard for me at the ripe old age of 41, where I went, okay, I kind of knew what was going on, but now I understand even more.
Yes.
Because
generally it becomes a tax on the entire population.
Yeah. And
because it sounds like, oh, well, we're just going to stop the inflow of stuff from outside of America. But unfortunately, America does not produce that much of anything anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Our industrial age is long but forgotten.
And then, like, understanding that actually kind of put a little bit more emphasis on who I wanted to vote for. And you can probably infer from how I'm talking for who I voted for, but they didn't impose higher tariffs. And I was like, again, Trump does what Trump says, and he gets a lot of people behind him to make sure that things happen.
Also, it's very important to remember that Kamala Harris started like halfway through this year, while Trump's been supporting, and we're not supporting, but like trying to get that re-election since day one of 2020.
Absolutely.
So,
and he was also been doing things before then, which there were people who were saying, hey, Kamala Harris's presence and her plans seem a little loose, a little half-baked. They appeal more for the emotions, getting people behind her and everything. We won't go back. Whereas Trump is, hitting on the same thing, saying, hey, we're going to go back to this. We need to impose this again. And that's because he's been, thinking about this for, well, I don't know.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah. But also, I feel like the entire Democrat Party had put all of their eggs in the Biden basket, that unfortunately, when they did switch over, now they have to have brand new policies that they want to write up for Kamala.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was like an escape plan, because Biden is falling apart. It's hard not to notice the bag of skeletons that's just walking around. Okay, he's fallen to pieces on stage.
Yeah, but you know what the best thing about him and his stage presence and what he's having right now is the Michael Bay meme where it just says something like, "Hey, are you really gonna go fishing for the next 3 days or something like that?" And Biden just looks back at the camera, starts to smile, and it cuts away.
Oh my
It
god.
says Michael Bay.
What
Yeah.
I've done.
Best thing to happen out of all of that debacle. My day, after I got up and started moving around and whatnot, I realized that I was probably hungry and dehydrated. And once I took care of those things bodily, I felt better. But the mental...
Oh, you actually wanted to feel better.
Yeah.
I woke up wanting to feel angry, and I didn't want to stop. I was really nice with my kids, though. I didn't throw them away. They're still here.
That's good.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, yes, I did. I didn't want to feel good. You know, it's like I wanted to live in this moment of just hatred and anger. And I think I'm still there.
Mentally, I was definitely doing that.
Unstable, probably.
Yeah, I was feeling low.
He's lost a lot of hair since
it was rough. It just came off like like I was a molting, like Iago, like ripping out his own feathers.
Actually, it's straight up last time that I saw him, I think he weighed a lot more. So maybe it's that also. Who knows? Maybe it's just stress in general.
I'm going to write my congressman and say, look what Trump has done to me, and just take before and after photos. See what I can get out of that. Wow. Fucking talent. No, mentally, I knew where I was at. I was snapping at like myself on things on the screen. I snapped at Marley once, my wife once, and it was a low-key snap, and she's like, what? I'm like, nothing, man. I'm sorry. I'm not in it. And then like we had breakfast. It was great. She went to work. We're okay. Yeah, mentally, I knew that this wasn't something that I was just going to be able to push through. The physical stuff, sure. Yeah, that's why I felt like shit, because I needed to hydrate and needed to eat. So that, I at least took care of myself physically. I didn't go online because I felt like that was going to, I wouldn't be able to live in my space and help to process the emotions. It was just going to heap onto the fire. Right. So where you said you didn't post anything because you were worried, I only posted reruns.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, I really did not want to have a conversation with anybody, especially my fathers and uncles. So I was like, well, I'm just gonna screen some phone calls and not listen to anybody for a little bit, because I don't want it to like build up to anything.
Yeah. So that's another thing as well. I have family members.
Yeah. How do you feel about like family members that voted on the opposite?
I've made a couple of videos about this, and it's kind of helped me process my thoughts about it. There are people out there who voted red, who voted blue, and not because of an emotional rhetoric, not because of the fact that they dislike a certain person, a way of life, or anything like that. Mm-hmm. They voted solely because of the money. As much as that irritates me, I know that some of these people didn't do it out of bigotry and racism.
Right. But also the money aspect, if we're being real here, the economy is in the shithole because of a pandemic that happened in 2020. A response that was created by Trump, who could have closed borders earlier than that, but instead decided to say that, oh, well, China is the enemy, and instead we're just going to stop the influx of goods that are coming from there, but not exactly, halting interstate commerce.
Yeah. It was messy. Some of my family members, some of my friends, they see something in Trump's response that may somehow turn that around. I'm not financially minded enough to even know what they saw, so I can't side with them on that. But I do know that all in all, they're good people. They spend too much time watching TV.
Yeah. Now
there are some people, however, who don't watch TV who still voted for him, and some of the things that I have seen in their past and the way that they have, let's say, that whole metric where they say you can judge a person how they treat their wait staff.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are moments like that where they have treated member of
you lack
society.
Empathy completely. Yeah. Oh.
And it just shines a big red light.
I wonder who they voted for. Right? Oh my goodness, it's crazy. It's almost like that's the sort of people that vote for that side.
Right. And so I didn't want to, and now I kind of know, like I'd already started to kind of draw away from them, because as I've become the person who I am right now, I am
Good person.
yeah, well, thank you, appreciate that. I'm trying to surround myself with even better people, because the way that I learned,
How did I get in this house?
I have no clue. I took my key away from you. You still wound up standing in the kitchen when I came downstairs.
Actually sent me his address. Can you believe that? Mistakes were made.
The whole idea of surrounding yourself with people who either know more than you or are better than you is something that I learned as a manager working in fast food for the longest time. And I think that's why I made pretty decent teams, and why people were like, "Oh, you were always our best manager." I'm like, please stop saying that to the other managers to their face. That's not fair to them.
Michael was better.
Yeah,
Michael was better.
I'm telling you that's happened. Like when people leave and it's like, all y'all suck except for him. He's the only one who knows what he's doing.
You're not my real dad.
I'm like, oh my god, please. I have to work with these people after you leave. What the fuck are you doing? But I've always thought that is like, and there were a crew who knew how to do things quicker and better than me. People who had like started like 4 or 5 months, like they've only been there for 4 or 5 months. They already know what they're doing. I trust them in that position, and instead of micromanaging them, I'm like, you know what you're doing. If you have any opinions, if you have anything like that, please tell me. And so
because you
that's
have
how
like
I'm living my life
empathy
now.
and you understand people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
how did you vote?
How did I vote?
Yeah.
I voted for Kamala.
Yes. Yes. Wow. There's a correlation here.
But I don't know. I mean, I went both of their websites. Yeah. I listened to what rhetoric that's not politically or emotionally charged. Mm-hmm. And I laid them out, and I did a good old-fashioned pros and cons list at my desk. Because I felt as any time that I have to do anything that is going to require a long-term commitment, from buying a phone to selecting a president or somebody who's going to lead in general, I want to know what's good, what's bad, what's going to outweigh whatever. And again, it could have been the fact that Kamala had only had so much time.
Well, even with like less time, she should have been able to get it, because it should have been a slam dunk. He's a felon. Did we forget that?
I mean,
yeah. Did we forget the massive amount of sexual allegations, specifically between him and the Teen USA models?
Did you?
Teen USA?
Did they? There are so many things that did make me go, hey, were you not listening? Were you not paying attention? Did you only see what he was yelling and forget about all the things that are being quiet right now? And I mean, that's politics for you, though. And so, again, all of this just made me feel just horrible. The like I said, snapping at people, the mental state and everything. My first thing into depression was quick and immediate. I don't really think there was room for any of the other 5 stages. Grief was there. There was really no bargaining. Anger was definitely there.
I don't think I went through any of the other stages of grief besides anger. I don't think I ever felt any other ones, and I don't think I ever left.
Okay, so not even grief, because grief is like one of the most.
Oh, that is the reason for this podcast. I'm gonna say yes.
Well,
specifically because I'm.
Well, no. It's what you really felt like. What was there any moment of, because grief is the brain's natural way of letting go, or trying to let go of things that either could have happened, were that was. So, like, was there any moment where you were like, shit, it could have been like this, and then your brain just kind of went off into anger, or just like
straight into anger? I understood as soon as the election results popped up. I was like, yep, sounds about right. Yeah.
So acceptance and anger at all the time, because I mean,
100%.
Yeah, because
there was no like trying to figure out like, oh well, what could have happened? What could have I done better? If I could have said other stuff. No.
Yeah.
People are stupid.
Yeah. That's the horrible thing about being in this kind of electoral process, is the fact that you do what you think is best. And whether it, like, I'm sure there are people out there who like saw some independent and it was like, hey, you actually might be the best, even though there wasn't a large campaign for them. Maybe they saw something in that person, and that person, lost as well. Or for some people's eyes, never even got a chance.
Right.
You do what you can. You go, you vote, you do the research, hopefully that's what you did. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't, well, I guess at this point you could be part of that grief situation. What could you have done better? You could have done the research and you could have voted. You could be you probably are more in the 5 stages of grief than the people who actually went out there and voted. And I don't wish negative feelings on anybody out there who didn't get what they want. But if you didn't try for something, you've put yourself in your own hell, and I don't think that's worth it. And I'm so sorry that you're in that situation. But if you didn't vote and somehow everything is still going well for you, please get in the comments and let me know what your life is like right now. Tell me why you didn't vote and why you're still happy with this. There's got to be somebody out there. You know, this country is made out of like thousands of circles in one giant Venn diagram. There's got to be somebody who has those two overlap.
Yeah. Especially in our community, right? With grief and loss in general.
Yeah.
Who would listen to all of this?
Yeah. I'm part of another podcast that we had a very emotionally charged conversation about a week and a half after the actual election. And the guy who we talked to, his name is Jay Speck, heck of a guy. We had a good conversation about what do we do next. There's still people out there who have all of this emotion, this anger, and I'm even seeing like whispers of things out there. Like people are like dissecting Harris's posts after, you know, she lost, including like some of the more recent ones. I'm like, you know, this is what we're going to do as a nation. This is what we should do. We shouldn't despair. And they're seeing this as a like a dog whistle, almost like a call for people to start getting in arms, because we're all going to like somehow stop this oncoming presidential event that's going to, you know, last for 4 years and do whatever it is going to be the country.
I don't think I've seen anybody really come up in arms to the point where they want to riot the entire Capitol.
No, not to that point. Definitely not to that point. No.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing is more along the lines of like we're all going to band together as a nation, and we're all going like almost Cold War-esque speak. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, very much.
I don't think that's what Harris is doing. It would, if it does, I'm, you know, it's another historical event we get to live through that kids are going to read in history books later on.
Right.
What do we do now, just as normal people who are just trying to live our lives? Like, do we just keep our heads
Assume
down?
the worst. Assume the worst, plan for any amount of panic.
So let's say that's your preparation process. Just saying, you know, what would you do to prep?
Go ahead and start packing everything, and start looking at plans outside of the country. Mostly, I'm not sure if you remember, but his stances on any sort of foreign immigration is pretty horrible, especially when it comes to everything going through Mexico.
Yeah,
especially the people who, I'm not sure if you remember specifically, but my wife is from Mexico, and so is the rest of her family. So this directly affects like us in general.
Talk like somebody who's thought about this, like as far as like the packing and the leaving, and you
just in case, you know, because if ICE comes through and they change like birthright citizenship, but they also revoke it from the people who happen to have already gotten it, well then, half my family is going to disappear.
So what do you do you have the necessary paperwork to allow you to cross said border if that was a situation? Of course. See, that's the thing that we're thinking about.
And I know that most people would be like, well, deportation hasn't really affected you as a person in general. Actually, it has. It's already affected either my brother-in-law or even my mother, who was deported back in 2016, I think. During the first Trump presidency. Yeah. She lived in Canada. She apparently wasn't a U.S. citizen at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why she's up there. That answers the question I didn't get a chance to ask when you brought that up earlier. So we're thinking about getting like passport information and stuff for us, but it's not for like fear of deportation reasons. It's just we know that maybe over the next 4 years it'd be nice to spend some time away from this over here and just go to see what life is at other places. Like
honestly, life in other places is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Flew to France not too long ago. If you stay out of Paris, because Paris kind of sucks. The rest of France, kind of fucking amazing.
Yeah.
The rest of Europe, kind of amazing. The healthcare in Canada makes the entire thing worth it.
Yeah.
Honestly, Mexico, same thing.
Well, I hear that.
You only hear about the horrible things in Mexico, but like straight up, healthcare, your ability to actually make businesses, the economy in general, better.
The amount of time that I've spent out of the country was all like Navy related. And so there are some places that I think I would like to revisit as a civilian and not necessarily with the entire idea that I have to go into a ship later to actually experience what life is like in other places. But I also know that shit, we have a hard time even like saving up for a house, just the way that, you know, life is right now. And so like the thought of not only just trying to get a nicer place to live in the country that I am, but the idea of going to another country and trying to start a whole new life. I like the idea, but it scares the hell out of me because of the unknown, I guess.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And, you know, there's humans don't, they don't like two things. They don't like the unknown and they don't like change. So, which is why death is such a fucking joke to the human race in general, because you get yeeted into the unknown and it's such a inevitable state of change that we're all going to have to go through. And so I don't know, I'm not saying that moving to another country reminds me of death, but it definitely gives me the warm and crawly sensation of anxiety. What I hope for you and your family is that it isn't going to be like that,
like a jarring experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already have a place in.
Okay.
It actually turns out well for
Okay.
us. Yeah, Claudia already has her family living in Mexico, like an entire portion. We have a house, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would just be an easy transition, but not for everybody. You know, everybody doesn't get the exact same thing.
No.
However, if you're like worried about like, oh, well, are they going to really understand me in another location? Canada is just America 2.0.
Okay.
They have Burger Kings and McDonald's and Walmart. So
that's that's the indication of standard of living right there.
Yes.
Fast food Walmart's we're home, baby.
It's the exact same. Except when you go over to the doctor, you won't be in debt for the rest of your life. So that's crazy.
There's that. Like there are aspects of my health right now which are on hold because of
it's the penis enlargement.
That's it.
Isn't it?
That's it.
Yes.
I tried taping 2 sticks to it and just stretching it every day, and I just got splinters.
I went over to the doctors and they ended up just like removing some of it somehow.
Wow.
I don't know. I was like, hey, can you make this bigger? They were like, nope.
It only goes back, son.
Yeah.
We live in Georgia. And
don't say that. Don't know.
The country. We live in the country of
Georgia.
Oh,
it's good.
No, thanks. Man, they'll never know. They'll never fucking know.
You're gonna have to edit this because I'm gonna post your.
That's
like, wait a second. That's like.
Well, no. Anybody? I'll be honest with you. If you only know me from this podcast, you just now learned this. But however, if you know anything else that I do, I tag Georgia and College, Georgia all the time. But you don't know what street, huh? You don't know what street.
And if you would like the street, it is currently 10.
Stop it. All right. No. So what they're doing is they're pushing out the marketplace, the regular Obama marketplace, and they're supplementing it with their own. They are literally rejecting reality and supplementing it with their own. And the process of them pushing it out made having insurance through the marketplace horribly expensive. I have something where my work, helps out. They kick back money for any medical expense that we have. I drained that expense dry and still owe more on the insurance. That's how much we were getting, taken for a ride. It's been rough. So we had to stop that. Now I have nothing. Going to the hospital or doctor, it's just 100% out of my pocket. And so we don't have that. So there's just some things that as soon as we get whatever insurance we can get, I'm going to take care of. It's going to be great. I might pack on some more pounds. Who knows what's going to happen in my life? But I also don't know. It's kind of up in the air what's going to happen with healthcare in general now. And so there's another sense of like anxiety and worry. I'm doing a lot of, I guess this is what's happening here. I'm doing a lot of pre-grief. I mean, anxiety, if anybody saw the new Inside Out movie, which was fun. It was really good. It showed one of the best examples of an on-screen panic attack, and it was a Disney cartoon. Yeah, like it showed kids, it's like, hey, you may be feeling this, and this is why. And anyway, I love the movie. I'll watch it again.
Okay, I guess I actually have to watch the movie because I know I watched I watched the first one, and I know my kids have watched the second one.
Yeah.
It's on Disney Plus. If y'all haven't watched it, go ahead.
It is very easy to watch.
Yeah. You just have to sell your soul to Disney.
Yeah, you just pay the mouse.
But yeah, I haven't watched it.
So you remind me, especially when you were talking about the symptoms that you were going through. You know, there was no grief, there was only anger. You just remind me of a little angry fire dude.
That's what I try to channel every single day of my life. Just a little bit of anger.
So the new emotion that they show in there,
just like a mixture of joy and anger.
I could see that.
Yeah, I
definitely.
do like Anna Poehler or Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler.
Is it Amy Poehler?
Poehler.
Poehler.
I think it's Poehler.
I like Amy.
Poe. Yeah,
Amy's pretty cool.
Amy's amazing.
Amy's awesome.
Amy, if you're out there, I used a GIF of you the other day on Blue Sky. Go to Blue Sky.
Amy, you are my celebrity crush.
Ooh.
Would you like to kiss me on the lips?
On those lips, right there.
Lips. Right.
So anxiety in that movie sums it up perfectly what that emotion is. They are not fear keeps you safe from the things that are actually happening. Anxiety tries to keep you safe from the things that haven't happened yet, that they're guessing about, that it's trying to read the future. And I've had plenty of talks with my therapist about this. It's better than it used to be. I used to just let anxiety just go, oh man, this is what it's like to be afraid of everything. So it's less fear of the future and just fear of the unknown in the future. So I'm not going to guess what's going to happen in the future, but the void that's left of me not thinking about it is just sitting there and going, hey, worry. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Humans are very good at adapting to the climate that they currently are in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in a constant state of panic, you're not doing it correctly.
And well, here's the thing. I'm really good at distracting myself. Like Xbox Game Pass, giving me new games just constantly. Well, are they good? Who cares? But they distract me.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been playing. I told myself I was going to put this on this podcast. I have been playing this game called Gossip Harbor on my phone.
Neat.
It's a matching game, but there in the center of it, there's this really messy individual who starts off the game getting divorced, falling in love with a fisherman, but in the meantime, still thinking about taking back her husband. And in the meantime, like she's trying to take care.
Ooh,
it's
drama.
It's
I
filled
like
full of so much like guilt-free drama. But
this isn't like an ad read, right?
Huh?
This isn't an ad read?
No.
Okay. So you just genuinely enjoy this.
I genuinely.
Y'all should go play that.
This game.
Okay.
And she's so messy, and everything around her life is messy. But in the meantime, I get to match up these little things in her kitchen and create like sandwiches and donuts and shit.
Oh, that's
it's
neat.
great. Anyway, so I can distract myself very easily.
Okay.
Between that and like forcing myself, it was a force. It was a force at the beginning of last year. It's less so now. Forcing myself to go out and talk to people who I've made friends with. You, Edith.
We're friends. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are.
It's live.
I have made a friend.
Just put it out
live
there.
on camera.
Edith Rosenblatt, who I do my other podcast with. Todd A. Davis, who I'm doing a live. This is going to be my second live D&D event at the end of this week.
We're doing live D&D events.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! Where's that?
It's in Greer, South Carolina. If you guys want to go check it out, the third.
I thought you meant like on live. I didn't realize that this is like in person.
Like I'm live.
I have to actually drive.
I am on stage. There's a place that streams, but we're trying to push the live tickets first. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So push it. Let's go.
But yeah, it's the third event may be happening shortly after this episode, I believe, because this is coming out in January. And he wants to do it every month. The second one we just did in December. It's comedians and drag performers on stage, five people on a table, and then the sixth person being the DM, which is Todd A. Davis. Anyway, he is another great friend that I've made. He's the one that got me into writing my book.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that has been I think a healthy distraction.
Right.
So that has helped with these feelings that I have, because I know I don't talk politics with these people. I'm sure they have their own reasons for voting for whatever they did. Did we all vote blue? I think we did. But each one, we're living in such different examples on life, like, whether or not we own a house, what our jobs look like, what we think security means for us in the future, that we all voted for a different way. That I don't think either one of us have gotten to a point where we go, okay, so let's talk about who did you vote for? And having friends that don't necessarily pull you into those conversations the moment you walk into their house is invaluable. I've had a couple of friends like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking to those friends right
I
now.
don't know. I personally like having those sort of friends that like will ask the hard questions
Immediately
when you walk through the door.
like you're kicking your shoes off and they're like, all right, fucker, who'd you vote for?
Exactly.
Wow.
You know? I mean, if they say it like that, yes, 100%.
Well, that's true.
I
I
like
guess there
that.
is a certain camaraderie with that. Yeah.
Right? It's a little bit of like, okay, maybe we didn't vote for the same person, but we hate everyone together.
Right.
So that's nice.
Fair enough. Okay.
But like,
okay,
you only
real
need a
friends.
couple of those sort of friends, right? Maybe just one in a lifetime.
But not every friend that you have, because at that point, I feel like for somebody who likes giving energy to friends, and especially
I'll
once I
give
get
more than energy to friends.
when I get comfortable enough talking to people, doesn't put that away. Damn it.
My bad, guys. I've derailed this situation.
Yeah, a promise of a good time, and the next thing I know, I become a jabbering idiot.
Oopsie poopsies.
From somebody who likes to give energy to people once I get comfortable with them, like party events, like that's a whole different giving energy. In fact, my social battery drains a whole lot quicker than this. If all of my friends were like the shoes off, hey fucker, who'd you vote for type person, I feel like I wouldn't have as much energy to give to other people.
Right.
Like I'd have to be like, this is the person I'm going to see that day. Say like if you're one of those people who have like 2 Thanksgivings to go to, they would be the last person's Thanksgiving I'd go to, because I know that's the main event. That's the most energy that I got to put out. But that's how my energy runs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah. What about you? Say you're in this situation. You have 2 Thanksgivings. You have the one Thanksgiving where everybody's just like, we're all here to have a good time, eat food, talk about nothing. And then you have, shoes off, hey fucker. Which one are you going to first?
I'm going to the shoes off, hey fucker, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I feed off of drama. That's all I do.
I saw your eyes light up when I mentioned what the hell my game was about. He's like, oh, that's
I was like, wait a second.
That's drama.
Yes, I need it. Awesome. I'm usually the one that stirs the pot at the family gatherings right before I leave.
Fair enough. Well, getting to know you, and also like the type of energy that you've inherited from like your father. I could see that. Yeah, somebody who does like to go in there and stir the shit up a little bit.
Yeah, when I walk into Thanksgiving, it's all nice and wonderful and stuff. But as I'm leaving, already got the kids in the car, grabbing my last little bits of stuff. I'll say something dumb like, "Hey, don't all liberals fucking suck?" And then I'll close the door. Just to hear all of them start like yelling about
a little verbal hand grenade.
Yeah, it's like, isn't the political climate pretty bad? Gosh, all these transgenders, am I right?
Oh my God, you're a fucking mess.
just throw it out in there, like you slipping a flashbang in traffic,
Holy shit. That's great. What a metaphor. What a fucking metaphor. All right. I have no idea how long we've been going, but I feel like we got out.
We're at a good halfway point.
Halfway point, you think? We've got other things we've got to do today, my guy.
How long has this been?
I have no clue. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, let's take a look, because like,
God, do I know
crap.
how to tell time or what?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Do we want to do the sign-offs and stuff like that?
Yeah. So we'll just do that.
I won't scream into the microphone this time.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, Blue hasn't come back, by the way, since you screamed. He was having such a good time sitting in this ring light right here, and then Sam screamed and he took the fuck off. It was good to actually talk about those emotions with somebody. And if you haven't had a chance to do that yet, if you're still holding on to fear, or if you're holding on to the grief that you may feel for something that you feel that got lost, there's 2 things I want to say to that. One, you can't keep holding on to things that are lost. You can remember them. You can talk about them with people, but holding on to it is only going to cause you more sorrow. I recommend letting go by talking either with a good friend, a therapist if you have it, or a family member who understands you, who luckily I married into a family that actually I know that coming this Christmas, there's only going to be one person we're going to worry about. Right. That's going to really like bring the verbal hand grenade like you would do.
Now, I personally would go the opposite route. Hold on to that sorrow as much as possible. Turn it into anger and use it against the people around you at all times.
That just goes to show the difference in between an inspiring Buddhist and a combative, angry man who wants to see the world burn as he leaves it behind and goes to Mexico. Did I get that right?
That's the plan. But like, plans change. I might not go to Mexico. I'd be going
but
to
everything
your house,
else
to your Thanksgiving, and I'm going to drop verbal hand grenades on your conversation.
Fucking happening. But seriously, I've said it before in almost everything that I've ever been in is anxiety is smaller when it comes out of your chest. Talk to it about somebody, even if you think that it's going to be a fight. Fuck it. Sometimes fights are also good. Don't get lost in it. Okay, we're just got to keep moving forward, and I think that's really the best advice. Keep moving forward. Talk out your anxieties. You have any last words you want to give to the people?
Or turn it into comedy and never let it go.
Oh yeah,
and instead make it everybody else's problem.
Well, they do say that comics, pretty much thrive off the pain in which they dwell. Thank you so much for coming to join in this. I want to start leaving off all my podcasts by saying, please, if there's anything that you want to add, if there's anything that you agree with, if there's any suggestions that you would want to talk about or hear us, not necessarily us, but whoever guests that I happen to have.
And he does have a lot of really awesome guests. You should
definitely
go back and watch all of the other It's Your Loss.
It was a great year. It really was. Feel free to put it in the comments below, rate, subscribe, do whatever you do.
Yeah, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, absolutely do that. Hit the like button so that way more people will see our ugly
because this is a monthly podcast, so it's not like I'm reminding you every week. It's a thing that you want to get that ding in every month. Hey,
and you know what?
Fresh new.
It makes us feel better if you hit that subscribe button, but also since we're only doing this once a month. Well, wait, he's only doing this once a month. You're not going to get it in your subscriber box all the time.
Yeah.
So.
We're going to have to cut because I'm going to have to think, not cut, but I'm going to have to think about how the hell I normally sign these things off.
Okay, I can just go on with a little bit. Timmy, you ever seen a grown man naked?
It's a joy to have you on this podcast. You bring a little chaos. It's great.
Thoughts on cheese.
Thoughts on cheese.
Why it's funny.
Why it's funny. Because sometimes when you eat too much, you fart, but you can't poop.
And if you happen to have friends that are Mexicans, go ahead and say your goodbyes.
Holy shit!
And if you happen to miss, cut that out.
And if you happen to miss the next episode, which will be the actual season 2 opener, well, it's still going to be your loss. Thank you so much for joining, and I will talk to you guys later.
Ah!
Bye-bye.
Bye.